Kaylee. Say hi.
Hi.
Where are we at exactly?
School.
That's true. Where is school exactly?
New Orleans.
That's true. We are in New Orleans. What school are we at in New Orleans?
Loyola in New Orleans. That's where I go to school.
Loyola in New Orleans is where she goes to school. That's true. I think I may show you a little bit of that. Have a great semester and school year, babe.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you.
Hello. How's it going? What's up, man? Hey. This building behind me there, well, all these people for the most part are college students and their families and friends helping these college students to move into this building right there, which is where Kaylee was at in that previous video that this just hopped over from. Fancy iMovie editing. But anyway, sorry my eyes are kind of squinty. Maybe I should move my hat this way and actually make use of it. But anyway, Kaylee lived there last year, and then now she's a sophomore here at Loyola University, New Orleans, and is up in this building. I don't even know the name of that building, to be honest with you. But yes, anyway, I'm on the campus here of Loyola University, New Orleans. They are like, I'm talking straight up freaking as close as you can get next door neighbors to Tulane University, which is right on the other side of this. Like literally, if you go around or through this building, Kaylee's old freshman dorm building, then you're at Tulane University. So yeah, they're as close allows. But yeah, so yeah, we're moving Kaylee into her sophomore year. For the second straight year, I am missing some of the first week of school in order to do this. But hey, she's my only kid. What you gonna do? Gotta be there to do these kinds of things, right? Even though her and her mom are the ones in there like putting things together. That, you know, when it comes to like building a 19-year-old girl's dorm room the way they want it, it's just not really my specialty. But hey, if they need something, then the video might get interrupted, so I can take that call. But I have a feeling that they won't need anything at the current time. But all right, so anyway, I just wanted to kind of show a little bit of this little atrium area between the dorm rooms. I'll go ahead and walk around through this way a little bit. I'm not going to make a long video here, but there is something that I've thought about for a while that I do believe is worth sharing. And the thing that brings it back to the front of my mind is here moving my 19-year-old daughter into her sophomore year of college. If it's a little bit gusty, that's because it is a little bit windy. There might be really pretty clouds right there. Anyway, I heard a little bit of thunder also, so it could be storming here before too long. But yeah. So here's what I'll say. So these two really cool girls I just talked to from the Pacific Northwest, they complimented me as they should on my Earth Kingdom jersey here, representing Avatar. But so I remember watching Avatar with Kaylee. Oh my gosh, really windy. Hope this is not interrupting the sound. Try to find a better spot, but so anyway, sorry, almost got ran over by that girl right there. She literally was like 1 inch away from me. So that time, like when I watched Avatar with Kaylee, she was like 4 or 5-ish, you know, yeah, like I'd say, yeah, like 3, 4, 5-ish, 6 maybe, right in there, you know, mid single digits, really young. And then now all of a sudden, you know, I wake up in this hotel room here and I'm moving a 19-year-old young lady into her second year of college, and I'm like, those Avatar days, you know, were getting to be kind of a while ago. So here's another area. That's like the student center over there, I believe. I don't know what it's called. It's got the cafeteria and like a Starbucks and stuff. And anyway, so yeah, you know, Loyola's really a cool, chill place. Tulane is also. It's not like the flashiest looking campus, but I like it. It's comfortable, and Kaylee enjoys it, and so I'm happy that she enjoys her college experience and has some good friends. That's a huge part. Well, I don't want to say for everybody, but I mean, I feel like having good friends doesn't hurt, right? It's certainly better than having crummy friends, and in my opinion, better than having no friends at all. But that's coming from like a 10 out of 10 extrovert, so it's a little gusty. Man, I think if there's a place to do a little filming that's better. Hello. So here's my point that I was thinking about. I was thinking about how fast time goes. And it's so relative, right? It's like, you could ask one person and be like, man, this is the slowest class ever. You're sitting in class somewhere and the other person's like, I don't know, I felt like it went by pretty fast. Or somebody else could be like, man, I felt like the summer just lasted forever. The other person could be like, it felt like it was like a week long to me. Or, like, oh my, I hate that movie. It's the longest movie of all time. And somebody else could be like, that's strange. I always wish that they would have added some more content to it, right? Because it just zips right by. There's a million examples of the relativity of like time's occurrence. Now, what do I mean by time's occurrence? I mean the way that time feels to you as the numerical portion of it passes. Like, you can't really argue very well. Like, that was a long movie. It was 3.5 hours long. Well, that is a long movie, right? So, I mean, if you're going to be like, that's a short movie, it was only an hour and 20 minutes, that is a pretty freaking short movie. So, like, arguing the quantitative aspect of things is not that easy to do, because you can stopwatch it and be like, I told you it was 3.5 hours, look. But trying to argue, like, the way something feels is much more difficult, right? Because it's something that you experience inside yourself, and you can't match it up very well, scientifically. I am so thirsty. I don't know why. It's not like freakishly hot here. It's pretty darn humid as New Orleans goes, but cheers. Thanks for the free Aquafina to whoever's supplying it out of their dorm room. So, again, just super quickly. I teach at Carter Riverside High School in Fort Worth. My first year teaching there, 10 years ago, I was the new guy. I mean, like, I feel like I'm the new guy there forever, right? And all of a sudden, I'm like the second longest tenured social studies teacher there. I'm in the hospital again with a daughter being born 2 decades ago. I'm in San Diego taking my first trip with my daughter to California. First of so many trips we've taken, so many trips. Never gets old, by the way. I always recommend it. If you bash, let me make this clear. If you bash California, that's either because you live there and don't like the prices, okay? Or you're focusing on the parts that are not good and neglecting all the amazing parts of it. Guess what? You can go anywhere and focus on anything, right? If you want to come to Fort Worth and complain about it, I guarantee you we can find a long, long list, and you can do that anywhere. I'm telling you right now, I've been to California probably almost 20 times, separate times. And I keep loving it all the time because I keep focusing and enjoying the great parts. And again, somebody out there could be like, well, that's because you're just a visitor and you're just going to the tour. No, I'm not just going to the touristy places. I have friends that live there that I stay with, that Kaylee and I hang out with. I have a bunch of neighborhoods that the locals go to that we walk through. Look, if you want to go find, just the slummiest, crummiest part of town and hang out there, then I guess you would be seeing some pretty bad parts, right? But I'm not looking to go hang out in the crummy, slummy parts of any place, right? Unless I'm doing some community service, which is a different topic. So anyway, my point is, I've taken Kaylee there a lot of times, and it feels like it was yesterday. And then all of a sudden, again, she was 8 years old the first year we went, and now she's going to be 20 before too long, this next spring. But so I said this is not going to be a long video, and I'm lying. So when it comes to time passing, I have a theory that I would like for you guys to test out for yourselves. I'm going to keep walking, standing here in the same spot, It reminds me of The West Wing, if you've ever seen that show. It's like all the time that they're having dialogue, they're moving. Like, it's like people just like going around, doing things, moving from one room to the next, one project to the next. It's like, it's almost never just like a camera on people doing like stationary activities or conversations. How's it going, guys? Good to see you. Hello, hello. So anyway, my theory on time's occurrence is that the brain, okay, the human brain, maybe other species too, I don't know. It's hard to ask them, right? The human brain, I believe, neglects things that are common. And it just doesn't really like dive in very deeply on like things that are ordinary and common for your day-to-day experiences. So I guess my point behind that is like if you wake up in the morning and you have this routine and you like brush your teeth and go pour some cereal and like get the paper or like put on some TV show or take a walk or you know whatever you do, and then you go to this like desk job where you just like enter in data or something like that, and then afterward you like you know go to the same little like cafe and get like a coffee or a beer on certain days of the week or whatever. Then you go home and watch more TV and you go to sleep. And you just do it over and over again. And then the weekend comes around and you like do a, you know, whatever weekendy things you do. Then the work week repeats itself with those same schedules. A lot of people here, like a lot of kiddos. Hello. Somebody waving there. I always like people seeing the videos being made, and it's like when I was in Europe. I'm like, hey, friendly people, if you're gonna wave, I'm gonna wave back and give you a little bit of a little screen time hello. But so anyway, so those common experiences of doing the same thing over and over again, I feel like your brain kind of shuts off a little bit. And what I mean by shuts off is like it stops paying attention to that kind of thing. And so it's like your brain condenses the moments just to save energy or just to be more efficient or something. And so by condensing the moments and not really paying attention to them, it feels like the day goes by faster, okay? You know how they say time goes by when you're having fun, or time flies when you're having fun? I'm not totally sure that I agree with that necessarily. I mean, like, I've been in this situation before where I've gone to a birthday party when I was a kid, and it's supposed to be from like 4 to 6 p.m. or whatever, and then it's like you're just like running around having so much fun, and then all of a sudden you're like, what? It's 5:40, what? And so like I think that like frantic, maddening like rush that a kid feels sometimes where they're just running around, you know, they're paying such little attention to the time itself, and they're so just like immersed in the experience that it does probably feel like the time goes by fast. But what I'm talking about here is not so much about fun necessarily as it is, this is a word I like to use, which is novelty, right? It's a word I enjoy. And so here's what I'm thinking. If you were to spend the entire summer again with a routine not too dissimilar from what I was saying about that person's work week. If you wake up and play video games, and then you just like sit there playing on your phone, and then you get something to eat, you know, like you make a sandwich, and then you go like walk your dog, and then you come back and like watch some Netflix, and you lay on in your bed on the phone again, and then you go to sleep, right? You know, if somebody were to be like, I'm telling you, a bunch of my students, if I was like, what'd you do yesterday? If some of my students did exactly that, they played like some video games, watched Netflix, played on their phone, took a walk with their dog or one of their siblings around the school or whatever. If I said, what did you do yesterday? They would say, nothing. And I'm like, no, really, what'd you do? Mister, I didn't do nothing. So their definition of playing video games, watching Netflix or any other streaming sites, and just like playing on their phone and all that occurs to their brain as having not done anything. Even though they in fact did some things, it's such like common mindless stuff that to them, you might as well say I didn't do anything. And so those kind of days fly right by. And I oftentimes will ask my students, I'm like, what'd you do this summer? Nothing, mister. I just laid around. And to them, again, laying around is in fact like being engaged to these like electronic situations where you're just kind of on mental autopilot, not having to generate any thoughts of your own. It's getting a little windy again here. Oops. Oops. I'm trying to show some of the campus, like I said, instead of being stationary. But in reality, that just kind of subjects us to some more wind. I'm going to show you this really cool central front area of the school. And there's so many people here. Like, I don't know what all these kids are walking towards. Some kind of orientation or something like that, maybe. Hello. This is where we said goodbye to Kaylee last year when we were going back to Texas. And it was so sad. I remember we both cried. We were like, oh no. It was real. There were real tears, though. It was real emotion. It was nothing easy or non-emotional about saying goodbye to our only kiddo and then going back home. But yeah, so this is the front of the school, which is actually pretty cool. Let me show it to you here. I heard a little thunder. It's really pretty here. And so like I was saying though, is like some of these things that people do, especially the kids or even adults too, they'll say like, I didn't do anything. I'm like, no. Whenever I ask my kids that at school to like tell me about what they did and they keep telling me nothing, I'm like, look, I understand it felt like nothing, but I want you to tell me what you did. Mister, all I did was I binged this show and then I went, to my tia's house for like her, for my nephew's something party, right? And I'm like, good, there you go. Going to especially in the Hispanic community, let me tell you, going to family parties is as common as waking up and brushing your teeth, okay? This is the truth. So to them, it might feel like they didn't do a whole lot because they go to family parties all the time, right? Just like they're playing on their phones and watching Netflix. These are just daily events, right? So here's the thing. My point is that novelty, right? Which is what I tried to do this summer, right? I try to do it a lot. I feel like I may have like a novel experience addiction to a degree. And part of it is because what I'm about to tell you, which is as you encounter new experiences that your brain has not dealt with before or does not deal with regularly, I feel like your brain has to pay more careful attention. Look at these clouds, man. They're pretty, right? This is a beautiful little area. I like it. I'm going to try to wrap this up though. Oop, hello, thunder. Hello. I'm going to try to wrap this up and make my point and then just get moving on, even though they're busy up there getting that dorm room together. As your brain encounters stuff that it's not used to, and again, it feels like you're not necessarily like time traveling, but it feels like you're manipulating time by doing this, at least in my beliefs, in my experiences. So again, if I'm walking around Fort Worth, Texas, my brain has seen so much of it already, it just kind of like doesn't even grab it. That's the best way I can say it. My brain is letting it pass right by, and my brain is moving on to note the next novel experience whenever it comes, right? And so those moments in between just kind of get like ignored so that the time almost feels like it didn't exist. Now, if I'm walking around Paris, France, or Ljubljana, Slovenia, or Poreč, Croatia, or wherever the heck else I'm at, maybe even honestly Dallas, Texas, 40 minutes away, to a place I don't, live in, my brain is like, there's a bunch of stuff that I've never seen before, or like, some like just environmental conditions and, behaviors and just general existence of newness. And so then your brain is grabbing at these things more individually and in a stronger way so that it feels like time is like more, those clouds right there are looking a little bit close. I may walk underneath one of these covered areas just to be safe. As my daughter always said when she was little, and hopefully still, safety first. But so anyway, again, your brain is like grabbing these experiences to where at the end of the day, if you're experiencing a novel day with novel experiences in potentially novel places, your brain may have like collected and attempted to index like 5,000 novel memories or moments, right? And so then if you stack them up next to each other, it feels like there was more to the day, and it starts to, again, just kind of like trick you into thinking that the time lasted longer. If you didn't do anything novel throughout the entire day, and it's to the point to where somebody's like, what did you do today? And you're just like, same old nonsense. Well, your brain literally might be like, I can only remember 3 things I did. You're trying to force me to like tell you about my day. The only 3 things I can remember is that I got pissed off at the end of that one episode of whatever show it was. My freaking phone died when I was in the middle of like, trying to text one of my friends, and so it interrupted me. And my cereal got soggy because I had to let my dog outside, who kept complaining to have to go to the restroom. And by the time we got back inside, I was annoyed with my soggy cereal. And so those are the only 3 things I can think to tell you. Well, think about it again. If your brain is trying to deal with 5,000 experiences as opposed to 3 experiences, they're just going to feel like there's more to your day. So I'm not giving anybody any recommendation. Hello. How's it going? How's it going, y'all? Good, thanks. But yeah, so I'm not giving any recommendations. There's no of course, right or wrong way to go about it. All I'm trying to say is if life feels like it is passing you by, which, hey, let me go and tell you, I have that experience as well. I was telling my daughter and her mom earlier while we were driving, I'm like, I've learned now if I'm like, hey, yeah, that memory was like 5 or 7 years ago. In reality, it was more like 10 to 15 years ago because I've learned that I underestimate how long ago something was now because it all goes by so fast. But when it comes to trying to get to squeeze the most feeling of time's existence out of the quantitative reality of time, to where you feel like you actually have more life in each day, I think that it's worth giving a shot to try to avoid doing the same thing all the time. Now, some of you out there could be like, well, I like what you're saying, but I just like routine. I like, to know what's going to happen, and, to just have, that predictability, right? Well, that's cool. I think there's some safety and security in that, right? You just have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to, again, realize that everything has a price, right? And if the price to your just strong devotion to having the most predictable, just like cobblestone stepped day every day all the time, is that you like that comfort and that security, well, you just have to, again, be prepared that you might, wake up and be like, dang, 10 years went by and I feel like it was 10 days. Because again, your brain is not noting a whole lot. It's just kind of like you're just like floating down the river, and the current kind of picks up speed whenever you're not engaged in anything that is particularly out of the ordinary. It's funny how the camera shot changed when I got out of the natural light there. But so anyway, again, the last thing I would like to just say is, can somebody fill their life up with novel experiences all the time? How's it going, guys? Can you take a trip to a different continent every day? Can you go, on a different date with a new person every night? Can you blow off routine and call into work or not go to class every day because you're like, Jason was right. I want my life to feel as long as possible. I'm just going to find something totally different to do every day and just avoid routine 100%. No. Nope, I'm not saying that. Not only am I not saying it, it doesn't work, right? I mean, if you have unlimited funding and you don't have any accountability or responsibility to anything or anybody, like this dude that I met on the boat from Vienna to Bratislava, Slovakia, he was like, hey, I sold my company and every day is a Saturday is what he said. And I was like, sweet. Guys like him, maybe he can do whatever he wants all the time but it's funny too? It makes you wonder, like, if you're doing the same thing all the time, right, constantly, it's like, at what point does the law of diminishing returns almost create this like life of constant novel experiences and create like a feeling of like redundancy out of that, right? You're just like, oh, waking up in a different city every day you know, now it just feels like routine, right? So it is kind of funny, you know, like how long and to what degree does novelty remain novelty? So like I was saying, it doesn't work. You know, most people have bills to pay, or, you know, education to get, which involves going to class, or, you know, just, you know, whatever, kids to take care of, or, you know, flowers to water, whatever kind of things require your daily attention. And so what I would like to say is this, though. Please, please, please listen to what I'm about to say. There are other ways to find novelty. Let's find another word there, right? Let's find a more novel word for novel. There are other ways to where you can very, very like easily, without having to feel like you're having to be Superman or jump through hoops and wake up, you know, in exotic places and with exotic people or all these kind of things. There are interesting and uncommon and cool ways to be able to accomplish that without having to, again, feel like you're pulling off magic tricks of life. And I'm going to tell you what some of those things are. You can read interesting books that transport your mind and are forcing your brain to pay attention to new ideas and new concepts in new places that you're journeying within your mind. There are ways to interact with people in your normal life, with friends and family, where it feels like it's a new experience and not the same old thing all the time. Now, that might feel like it's easier said than done, but I'm telling you right now, it's really more a choice than anything. And just like, you know, somebody who says they're in horrible shape and they step on the track and they're like, I want to learn to run a 5K, right? Well, I'm going to tell you, if it feels like walking that first lap is painful, it's supposed to be. After a few weeks, you're going to be jogging that, you know, first or second or third lap, and you'll be able to do 4 laps, and you're you know, 1/3 the way through your 5K training. And then you're going to look back and be like, you know what, something that felt so foreign and difficult to me, before I knew it, not only was I successfully completing a 5K, now I'm a marathon runner. Hey, I like it. I like it. And again, that's because you stuck to the system. And guess what? Your brain is designed to adapt and grow and then eventually flourish in new systems that you expose yourself to and that you don't give up on, right? So again, your mindset, that's what I'm trying to get at again about novelty. I think that your mindset and willingness, okay, your openness, your allowance of yourself to see and experience things in a new way is the number one way to create newness in your life. And I'm not saying that with like a cheesy fairy tale tone. I'm being real serious about it. That if you see things with the same eyes all the time, then they're gonna look the same way, okay? How you doing, sir? Good. If you allow yourself to create a new perspective and a new angle and some new thoughts and give different new ways of attention to the same places and same people, then they will begin to occur as a new and a more amazing and unique people and places than what you might have allowed for in the past, right? And again, hey, taking great trips and getting a new job, maybe even like if you feel like your life is stagnant, if you want to get up and quit and just say, hey boss, I appreciate the opportunity, but I'm just feeling stagnant and not that great. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna move to San Diego or Tokyo or, you know, wherever, then go for it, right? Those are cool ways too. My point is that there's not just one right way, and you don't have to do something huge to create something incredibly new and get that unique, amazing, fresh feeling from your life. There's a lot of degrees, it's a spectrum, and there's not just one way to get that done, right? So again, here I am at Loyola University in New Orleans, pretty campus. Hello, how's it going? Anytime I see nice, smiling people, I always like to say hi. Have a great day. So again, here I am, my little, just baby daughter. Gets me every time. Appreciate the patience. So, here I am, Loyola University, New Orleans, Louisiana. Beautiful, almost rainy day. Got this nice stormy setup. And like I said, hey, I've had a lot of novel experiences, and you can't stop the way that time flows and rolls. You can't stop it, but you can do some tricks to help make it seem a good bit richer and just add some more meaning to where even if it does fly by, it seems to fly by with some pit stops of amazingness instead of just coasting with nothing to report or appreciate, right? So anyway, mindset first, and then a million other great things to go and experience out there just to add some extra layers to this amazing, unique experience called human life. And I am grateful for it. I'm grateful for you guys, grateful for my daughter. She's the only kiddo I've got, and she's been and still is amazing. And so yeah, I'm glad to be here, missing a couple days the first week of school to move her in. Thank you, Loyola. Thank you, New Orleans. Thank you to everything and everybody else. I just feel grateful. And I hope everybody's doing well. Leave me some comments. And yeah, make the most of every day, guys. It starts first and foremost with the choice and dedication to doing exactly that. I'll catch everybody next time. See you soon.